Hello, welcome back. Now I'm going to talk about Sparrow, which is a Johnnie To film from the mid 2000s. It was a film that was no one was really interested in this film, so he had to make it between other films and bring the cast back together and shoot some more. Eventually, it was put together and released. And it's one of Johnnie To's best films. It's so charming, and it's just one of those beautiful films. Stars Simon Yam as in the lead as a charming pickpocket with his crew of pickpockets from through Hong Kong. So a lot of it's a bit of life, but it's also like you'd think it was a pickpockets would be some violence here or there, and there's really not that much. There is a bit when they can get beat up, but you only see happen to one person. They try and keep it light and not overdo it. So it's got a wonderful sense of glee of life to it that really works for this film. It is wonderful. And I think because no one wanted to make it, Johnny To made the film he wanted to make, and that was it. And eventually, people saw it and liked it and got released. And it's still I think it's still one of those films from Johnny To that's not the one people talk about. I mean, it's not like the election films or Exile, you know, or they're just as Full Time Killer. It is one of the ones that are probably less viewed. Like I hadn't heard of it for years until Hoos and Touch of Film put me onto it. And this is wonderful. Even then, I bought it, and it took me forever to actually buy it. But it's one of those wonderfully charming films, which makes it very difficult to talk about because its prime thing is got for it as a charm. It's about these guys who are pickpockets in Hong Kong. There's four of them. They've got a routine. They've got areas where they can go and work and just get on with their lives. So they do this thing for a bit. They make their money, and then they go and do what they want to do the rest of the day. So Johnny To has Simon Yam's character actually being a photographer, and other ones go and one of them gambles, and one of them just rides around on his bike. So they all have things they like to do, their own passions. So they steal in the morning and then go and do it for their passions. And they're all having a grand time of it because they tend to steal from the rich, like they well off, and you don't get a feeling that they're stealing money from people who are really going to miss it. There's like people who have been irritated they lost the purse or their wallet, but the people with a lot of money in their wallets, so they can steal the money and put the wallet back sometimes, and it's a slight annoyance more than something that's really going to traumatize someone. So they don't play this as it's like the most traumatic experience. They're actually doing it to people in Hong Kong who tend to have money and who have been very careless. And you have a wonderful scene as you see them at work, and you just see them target people. We'll get that one. We'll get that one. And it's just by looks and very smooth moves. They end up pickpocketing them. So it's a film that is kind of like, okay, these people are doing bad things, but you kind of like them anyway. So into this charming world comes this woman who begins to beguile each one of them individually. So she charms Simon Yam's character, so she always tends to show up in his photographs, and slowly he starts to get to know her a little bit. And then you see her interacting with the gambling friend of his. Then you see him interacting with the more homely of them. And then there's interact with the guy on the bike, and slowly they've all fallen in love with her. And they've all been charmed by her. And as it goes on, you realize she's actually with this older guy who looks after her, but she wants to be gone from him. She just does not want to be near him. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him, really. She just wants to move on with her life. And this is filled in slowly. Because one thing that Johnny To does is he does not have tons of exposition to bore the hell out of you. He just does not do that. He just gives you the information, lets you use your intelligence to figure it out, which is wonderful because it allows the film to have its own pace that's not based on stopping and starting the film all the time. It's like, no, we'll go along with the characters and I'll let you figure most of this out. Like, you can figure it out if you've got half a brain, what's going on. But it also means that even if you're not sure about the characters, are not sure about either. So it allows you to drive their motivation because you understand where they are in the story because they're as confused as you are because they're missing information that you don't have either, usually. Or they can half understand information, or sometimes they've figured it out, they're not actually showing it in very, they don't demonstrate they know the information. So it becomes a duel between these guys and the people protecting this woman as they try and get her out. And slowly it becomes like a full-on, challenge to get her out. But the film is so charming that it takes its time to get there, even though it's a very short film. And you're never quite sure if they're going to go full in that idea because she has caused them all to get beaten up by the people protecting her and her and older guy. So she has caused them to be beaten violently. But that doesn't stop them from deciding they're going to actually try and help her. And it comes back on them in interesting ways. But despite all this, which in the other directors' hands could be violent, could be suspenseful, this is still just a very charming thing, very warm and curious about the world they're in and what's going on with these people. And these pickpockets seem very kind of innocent. And the whole film has an innocence to it that is just beautiful. That just irresistible. The whole film, that's the big thing of this film, trying to explain it, is like, it's all in execution. This could be a much more cynical film. Even when you get to the end, the resolution is very good-natured and has a lot of humanity to it. And it's not, doesn't go entirely the way you expect, but there's lots of like wonderful little moments within getting to the end of what is basically a kind of heist movie, but it's for a person rather than a object. And all that ensues of all the complications that ensues with dealing with people rather than objects. And it's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful film all the way through. It's just beautiful and it just works in a great way. And I just urge you to see it. I don't want to say any more about it because it is a kind of thing where it's like, just go see this film. It's just wonderful. And you don't need to try and figure the plot out too much because it's not really about that. It's about the atmosphere of the film. It's about the atmosphere of these people interacting. That's what it's about. That's all it's about. So this is a beauty. This is a gem. This is one of the best films of the 2000s so far for me. Like, really is wonderful. So go see it. And hopefully we'll get some Blu-ray or 4K releases at some point because I've just got it in DVD so far. It's just wonderful. So hope you enjoyed this video. We're back soon with another one. Right. Bye for now.